welcome to our deep dive. My name is Kelly.
And my name is Jessie. And in this series of deep dive, we are going to show you everything you need to know about course reserves. So whether you are a community college or an academic or university, this will walk you through the steps of setting up a course reserve, maintaining it, deactivating it. So if you have something that's offered in a fall semester and maybe not in the spring semester, we'll walk you through all of the processes that involve course reserves.
This is exciting, Jessie. We haven't talked about course reserves before, so this will be really great for those libraries that maybe want to use it, or people that are using it may see something they didn't know existed. Okay. We have to turn on course reserves, Jessie. So in the system preferences, I'm just going to type in course and use course reserves as a system preference. If it is not turned on, you want to set that to use, and then it will display in your main menu in this front page here. And it will also appear in this drop-down menu as well, right here, which I always find easy. Within the course reserve module, you can see we have some courses already created, but we're going to go through and create a new course. That button here, new course. But first, let's just talk about, you can see all the information that we can keep in a course: name, department, course number, section, term, instructors. You can see these are linkable. So these are going to be patrons in your database, any notes, number of students, and if it's enabled or not, which is active.
Now, Kelly, can we talk a little bit about the authorized values that tie in? Because this may be some pre-work that they'll want to do before they jump into the course reserves module itself.
Absolutely. So you can see you have some required fields. The first one is department, which is going to link to an authorized value called department. So if you don't have any created yet, you would want to make sure that you create a few or at least one authorized value in that department. So I will pop over to administration, go to my authorized values, and there's our department. So that's already created for you. You would just need to create some values for that department. If I create a new value, you can see I'm just going to create that authorized value and then a description.
Perfect.
Something to note again, that authorized value should only be 10 characters or less, no spaces or special characters.
Descriptions, of course, can be as long as you want.
Absolutely, absolutely. Back over here, so you can see these are my values already created: art, history, music. Course number is going to be the course number in your school. Section is not required. Course name, really important. Now, all these values will be searchable by your students. So this is the more information that is here, the easier it will be to find those courses for your students.
Kelly, I can remember one of my first library jobs was working at the university library. I worked in the periodicals department, and I can remember people coming up and they're like, oh, I remember my professor's name, but I can't remember the course. So this is nice that Koha allows you to search by all of those different fields.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, another authorized value is term. So I'm getting an alert to say, hey, you don't have any terms set up in your authorized value. If you wanted to create a term, spring, summer, fall, you can do that as well, again, through your authorized values.
And if your university or college does blocks, you can also set those up as well as a block. So it's a free form, just like Kelly showed you with departments. That same feature would be for your terms, and it can really be however you want to set that up.
Absolutely. Your instructor search, this is going to actually search your database. So you're going to go ahead and find that instructor, professor, faculty member that's living in your database and link those. You can see I can continuously add more. So I could add multiple professors to this one course if I wanted to. Maybe I'll add one more.
Yeah, and if there was like a teacher's assistant or grad assistant, you could add those in as well.
Absolutely. You can create staff notes. So something specific about this course itself, maybe this is a professor's personal collection that you're using within this course, you can add that, and that's just for staff to see. And you have a public note. So this could be some sort of rule about this course. Maybe the material can't leave the library, or it's a 24-hour loan, something to tell the students when they look at it on the course in the OPAC. Number of students. If this is something you want to fill out, again, the more information, maybe the better. And then finally, enabled. This is, as Jesse was saying earlier, is to make it available to your students to find. And if it's a fall course and you want to turn it off for the spring, you can unclick this, and then it will retain that information we're creating to make it easier to reactivate it in the fall.
I think this is one of the most helpful things in the course reserves module, because think about how many times you don't want to have to go through the process again of recreating that information. Koha will just keep it on the back end, and then you can enable it when you're ready to have it visible on the OPAC.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to get a nice little summary of what we've just created in that course. And now Koha would like us to add reserves to this. So what material is actually going to be included in this course reserve for these professors? I can add a reserve individually. And this is something coming in 2111, Jesse, is not only can I add something by barcode, I can add something by biblio number, which is fantastic.
I can remember this from back in like 2016 when we were like, when will this ever come? So this is amazing. It's finally here.
It's awesome, because so many libraries have material that are not barcoded. They are just, records, like, because they're electronic and they don't need barcodes. So this will allow libraries to really be able to just add those material without adding barcodes to their material.
It's wonderful.
Yep, perfect. And sorry.
Especially for electronic resources. They want to add those in, and they do have the MARC record in there, but it's an itemless bib. I mean, this is just like, we could go on with all the examples. Journals, like, if it's something that, again, an electronic journal, but you want to link out, those are just all really great, really, really great ways.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm going to throw that barcode in there. And now this is the important part and the most crucial part for libraries if they do want to change the location of this course reserve while it's attached to a course, or that circulation rule of that course reserve. So here we can update these values to reflect that this item is on course reserve, and maybe it's changed location or item type. Any of the values you're not changing, you can leave alone. So this is really, we're not going to have to say that this is a book when it is a book, but if we want to identify it as something different.
A lot of times libraries will change it to like a 1 hour reserve or a 2 hour reserve or something just called reserve. These are all ways that you can make those changes to reflect them in your CERC rules.
Exactly. So I'm going to say that this is maybe reference. Again, collection, maybe I've moved the shelving location to my reserve area in my library. I can certainly do that. I could also say that this is moved to another library for a specific course. So all these can be adjusted. Now, note, as soon as I unenable this course, it will revert back to its original item type, collection, shelving location, which is so important and so helpful.
Again, like, I know other ILSs that this doesn't happen for the course reserve. So this is super helpful in Koha to make it much easier for staff to maintain that information. Absolutely.
And finally, you do have the ability to add a staff note to an item specifically, or a student note to tell them specifically about this. So this could say chapter 3. So the student does know that it's specific to, this area in the book. And then Koha will prompt you for another barcode if you want to add them individually. The second way you can add course reserves to a course is from a batch add. And this would allow you to bulk add barcodes and then pick the item type, collection code, shelving location for all of them instead of doing that individually. Now, you could need to do that one by one if they're they're different item types or different shelving locations. You can certainly do that, but it's really great to be able to do that. So let's grab I'm going to grab a barcode file and I'll just add those. I just copied and pasted some in there. And I could say, okay, these are going to be journals, whatever. And then you also can use that batch biblio numbers as well. So just like we had on the individual course reserves, you can do that in batch for biblio numbers.
That has to be like one of the most exciting things in 2111.
Pretty much. Okay. So we did this new course, Intro to Impressionist Art. You can see all the information we filled out. There are 2 instructors. There's our public note, and we can see it's enabled. If we click the course itself, we will see all the items that we've added in this course. And you will be able to see any of the information that you changed when you added it. So this first one, A is for alibi. It's really an audiobook, but while it's on course reserves, that item type is set to journal. So you can see it is bolded in that, so you understand that it has been updated. So again, this one's a book, but while it's on course reserves, it is a journal. Okay, so now we should go ahead and add this, go look at this in the OPAC, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when your student or patrons come to the OPAC, they'll be able to see the courses here. We talked about the searching ability. If I go ahead and search professor name, course number, the name of the course, if I have a long list, I can go ahead and search here, and that will search all the information that we have listed here. I can come in here and click Intro to Impressionist Art, and I can see all the titles that are associated with this course. Now, the first one I added that public note, chapter 3. If a student didn't come directly to the course reserve module and they searched in the catalog for that specific title that they remembered should be on their course, they can come here and they're actually going to get an indication that this is linked to a course reserve. And they could say, oh, there's more. And I can click back and see all the titles linked to this course reserve. So we can go back to all those.
Kelly, one thing we didn't mention was if this was an electronic resource, you will see the link that's coming from the 856 subfield U available in that particular record. So if we go back and we look at that Intro to Impressionist Art, you'll notice that there is a column there at the end that says link. So again, that will pull from the MARC record, that 856 subfield U, and it will populate a link directly out to that particular resource.
Perfect. That's great to know, Jessie. I did want to note that we have 3 courses listed here. However, when we look at the staff view, we actually have 4 because one is not enabled. So you are not going to see those unenabled courses from the patron side because, again, it's not available right now. Mm-hmm. So that's really helpful to know that you have that functionality.
Perfect.
Back on the staff side, if you did need to alter any of this information, remove courses, you have the option to remove and also edit. So if you notice something was wrong, you are able to edit or remove each item here.
Love it.
Love it. Okay, this is pretty fantastic, right?
I love it. The course reserves has really come a long way. Just having being able to add a bib instead of by item is a huge enhancement.
100%. So that is coming in 2111, which will come to your libraries in the summer. And this was fantastic. So we appreciate you watching. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.